What's up, everybody? Geoff Cooper here. Welcome back to Blue Collar Heathen on YouTube. And today, I am going to be playing more word games with Apologists. I couldn't figure out which one I wanted to do, so kind of like, like when you're at the restaurant and you can't figure out like what you want for an appetizer, so you get the sampler, right? For the indecisive. Well, that's me. Here we have a bunch of Christian apologists talking about the cosmological word game. Let's get this done. Well, we're back and we're going to play some more word games with apologists. Last time we played with the ontological argument, where we determined that there was a maximally great Sharpie that drew the universe and caused it to be. This time, however, we're going to be getting into the cosmological word games. So this video here is by Ravi Zacharias Ministries. What it seems like is that he's got a bunch of his buddies on there, and they give their take or their comments on the cosmological word game for God. So without messing around too much here, let's just get into this. Okay, here we go again.
I think we all agree that for everything that exists, there must be an antecedent cause to it, whether that's my own birth or the cake that was given to me for my birthday present or, whatever. Or the car that I'm driving, which I'm delighted with at the present time. I know that it didn't just show up. It wasn't a result of randomness plus time, that there was a designer, there was a manufacturing process, there was a shipping process. And so it seems to me that cause is intuitive for things that really exist in the universe.
All right, well, cause is intuitive. As intuitive as it may be, that doesn't mean that it is correct, because there does not appear to be anything that begins to exist. And this is the attraction of the cosmological word game, that it does appear to be intuitive, that things don't begin to exist without a cause. But inherent in this is it's built in a special pleading fallacy, where everything begins to exist has a cause, excepting their God. Well, if the exception can apply to their God, then we can apply that ad hoc bullshit to anything else. There's no way that you're going to say that this is a logical proof of anything if you're going to make special exceptions for certain types of things, and the certain type of thing here being God. So that's one objection I have to it right off. The second one I have to it is this was put forth by Apologia. And if you haven't subscribed to Apologia's channel, go ahead and do so, well, after you subscribe to this one, right? I'll leave a link to Paul. And he puts out a very good video that talked about things coming into existence, and we don't see things coming into existence. We merely see a rearrangement of prior material into existent things. And that is a very good objection to which they don't seem to have a counter. But we'll see what other guys in here say. We'll see what other guys in here say. We'll get back to it.
And now we are living at a time where this argument really has gained a lot of momentum today, because the accepted view in science today is that the universe, time and energy and matter and all that all came into existence at a finite time in the past. Now, if that is true, they have not always existed. They do point to a reality beyond just the physical, and that reality has to have certain characteristics. Has to be timeless because it created time, immaterial because it created space, extremely powerful, if not all powerful, because of the nature, the vastness of the universe, and it also has to be extremely intelligent given the complexity of the universe. So, what kind of a cause would this have to be?
No. You don't need it to be extremely intelligent. This is trying to sneak their argument to design in there, implying that the universe is in fact designed by somehow a mind existing outside of a brain, which we have absolutely zero evidence for. So you don't need any of that. You don't need an extremely powerful anything. You need a sufficiently powerful thing. And there is nothing that has been shown anywhere ever that says that nature, that some natural thing couldn't have done this itself. We know when the Big Bang happened, more or less. 13.8 billion years ago, whatever it is. And we know that space-time and the matter contained in it was down into this point, right? And then we had the expansion, the inflation. If time did not exist then what you're actually arguing is that everything was at that singularity and then expanded from that singularity. Doesn't mean anything was created, because everything was already there in the singularity. I don't get it. They are so desperate to twist reality to fit their scripture. It actually makes me sick. It actually makes me sick to my stomach. It's to it again. This is what I do for you. This is what I do. Are you not entertained?
Now, those who used to say the universe was infinite, has always existed, they argue that the universe itself is that primary cause. It's always been here. But ever since the Big Bang, we know that the universe hasn't always been here, and we can look at that in different ways.
All right. We know that the universe hasn't always been here in this particular state. We know that the state has changed, and I don't think that anybody is arguing that it hasn't. They're doing this weird... This is why it's a word game. We
can look at that through the redshift by noticing the Doppler effect in the universe around us. The universe had a beginning. Or we can look at it from a chemical argument using the second law of thermodynamics. We know that things move from a state of order to disorder. In order for the world to have as much order as it has today, it must have had a beginning in the past. If it were infinitely old, we would be at a point of infinite disorder. So there's different ways to point out the fact that there was a cause to this universe.
Order to disorder. This bullshit again. All right. The thing about the order to disorder games that they like to play here is that they're trying to say that the world is ordered, that the world is structured, that the world is actually has an order. They'll make word sounds out of their face holes, giving lip service to chemistry and physics. But they're not actually doing chemistry or physics here, are they? Because if it was ordered, right? If it was ordered, it would be uniform. We wouldn't have elements like helium or lithium or carbon or iron or any of the other naturally occurring elements. We'd have hydrogen. Anything beyond hydrogen it's already gone beyond the initial order and has been disordering ever since. The elements higher up on the periodic table are the ones that are more unstable. There's a few elements that we can only create in the lab, and they have just a very, very short half-life, where we can cram all these protons together and, make something, and it's an element, and it decays right away. To argue the second law of thermodynamics doesn't really help them. I mean, it's a multi-syllable word, so I guess they think they sound smart doing it, but we already know that time has advanced, that disorder has increased. Right? Because if disorder had not increased, then we wouldn't have the elements that we have. It's already showing that. Doesn't help.
So there's different ways to point out the fact that there was a cause to this universe. And therefore we have to ask the question, what was that cause?
Okay.
It's a mind over matter type of thing, yeah. Whether or not, is it in the beginning was the word, or in the beginning were the particles? And right.
In the beginning, was there the word, or was there the particles? Wow. I want to know how they've eliminated everything else and only have that one dichotomous relationship between the word and particles.
Now, the accepted view in science is that the particles were not in the beginning, they came into existence. And that just leaves the other option, which is a mind.
No, there's not just the other option, the mind. The mind isn't an option. The mind is not an option. Because there's nothing saying that a mind exists independent of a brain. Outside of a brain. The mind, you can't say that a mind did something, without first proving that the mind is even there. You're just appealing to you're taking a mystery, something we don't know anything about, and appealing to a greater mystery. This mind independent of a brain that we have never seen, that we have no experience with. They want to call it supernatural. I already have a video on that. Supernatural is just a fancy way of saying talking out your ass.
When you look at a personal creator like God, then
personal? When did you get personal? You haven't proved that at all. Slip that right in there, right? Personal.
have an answer that not only answers the question of the beginning of the universe, it then answers all the other questions as well.
All right, so we're gonna add this in to answer all these other questions as well. Yeah, that's called ad hoc. And it really does not help your argument at all.
Best, most coherent explanation that ties in all these facts and ties them in well is that God exists.
All right. So, surprise, not compelling. And the reason it's not compelling is they can't demonstrate that anything ever began to exist. They can't demonstrate that a mind exists outside of a brain. They can't demonstrate that anything beyond sufficiently powerful was necessary. They cannot demonstrate this timeless, spaceless, immaterial, extremely powerful, personal thing. They can't demonstrate it. They can only assert it. Now, even if these word games were valid, even if they were sound, then the next step from that would be to take the conclusion of this word game and then test it, which they've never done. Now they'll say, oh, you can't put God in a test tube. Not asking for that. Asking for the proof. Word games are not proof. It means just as much as supernatural or appealing to your mythology. Doesn't get you anywhere. Gets you exactly nowhere. That's all we got for this time. Thank you so much for sticking around. Also wanted to say hi to all the new people that have subscribed. Last I saw, we're up to 94? 94. I'm pretty sure it was 94. Anyways, we're still creeping up on that 100. I know, 100 isn't all that big of a deal to you guys, right? On YouTube, right? 100 isn't all that big of a deal on YouTube. But to me, yeah, that's kind of a big deal. I'm kind of happy about it. So, yes, it's a micro channel. It's a nano channel. It's a femto channel. Okay? I know that. I have no disillusions about that. Totally fine. We'll see you next time. Take it easy.